take down Al Qaeda and the Taliban and Osama bin Laden when, I think it was 10 years later they found Osama bin Laden in Pakistan. How many people, how many civilians, how many British and American soldiers have died in those conflicts? Even Iraq, the UK had forged documents. I think it was the September dossier it was called, to support going to war in Iraq, to get Saddam Hussein's weapons of mass destruction, which never existed, and yet that place is probably a more unstable country than it is. But back on the topic of the whole Poppygate scandal with James McClean, when I just seen the articles in the news, I was just like, not this again, please. Like, the news should have better things and more pressing things to write stories about, because when you're writing a story about that, it's only going to whip up anger and frustration, and it's not going to help anything at all. And I'd seen there recently Nemanja Matic, who plays for Manchester United. He's a Serbian, and he doesn't wear the poppy as well, and he came out and said because of a bombing in his village, he refuses to wear the poppy, which again should be respected. I don't really agree with James McClean a lot. His comments, he supports the IRA and has made comments about the IRA previously, and it just doesn't sit easy with me whatsoever. I don't agree with that, but people and the media should have more important things to do than you kind of go on a witch hunt. He hasn't worn a poppy for a few years now. It's no more, outrageous or shocking that, again, this year he's not wearing a poppy. I think we should just leave it at that and don't get embroiled in that whole thing. Because otherwise you are looking at a place where people are being judged for not wearing a poppy, and you see it even on the BBC. I think a few years ago, I can't remember what it was, but I think it was like a kids' TV program where there was a hand puppet in it, and even the bloody hand puppet had a poppy on. It's just outrageous. And even things like Strictly Come Dancing, which was on last night, you had all the dancers wearing poppies, which is fair enough, but it's nearly this lift. Like, if one of the dancers didn't wear a poppy, they'd probably be slated and tore apart in the media, which shouldn't be the case. If you want to wear a poppy, wear it, absolutely. People who don't wear a poppy shouldn't be criticised or, part of a witch hunt. I just don't think that's acceptable whatsoever. So yeah, that's all for this week. Apologies if this was a bit rambly. A few different things I wanted to chat about, and I feel like it's easier to listen to a bit of a ramble and a bit of a longer ramble than something that's a bit shorter and more scripted. So let me know what you think of this week's episode, and stay tuned for more episodes in the next few weeks. Don't forget to like us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and check out our Patreon page as well. Okay, thanks. Have a good week. See ya.